Welcome to Recovery Recipes, a series of short bite-sized ideas and ingredients to help support the hospitality industry recover from the recent pandemic. I am Mark Elliott, MD of marketing agency SparksForGrowth.com. My team and I specialise in marketing for the hospitality sector. But today I'm delighted to be joined by Angeline, who is a specialist in health and safety, compliance and risk mitigation. Hi Angeline, how are you today?
Hi Mark, I'm really good, thank you.
Great to hear and welcome. I want to ask you, what advice would you offer to hospitality professionals to help hospitality businesses recover in the next few days, weeks and months ahead?
So let's look at it in terms of the short term, and then we can look at it also in the long term.
Okay.
And in the short term, really there's two key questions I feel you sort of operators need to ask themselves. One of them is, have you prepared your people? And the other one really is, have you prepared your stage? So if we look at have you prepared your people, we're really sort of asking that question, do they feel safe and do they feel engaged? And when we want to sort of think about, do our people feel safe and engaged, we want to understand, how well have you prepared them in their role in the new norm? Have you gone through all of the cleaning procedures that they need to now implement? Have you gone through all of the social distancing measures that you've put in place so that they can manage the customers easily to reduce conflict and help them in that great customer experience that you want them to have on reopening? Things like queuing and ordering at the table and wearing of their PPE. So obviously we've got some different rules and regulations across the UK. So face coverings and face visors and masks are all different forms that you may have decided to put in place in your business. The new requirements in hospo of taking customer details so that we can track and trace, what processes have you put in place for that, and have you really trained teams to be able to do that in a way that gets the details but also is compassionate to the situation. And the other really thing about for your people really is, have you retrained them in their roles? They were working in hospo pre-COVID-19 and perhaps they're just coming back, so you're sort of re-onboarding them. Things like allergens and actually making great safe food, going over those processes to make sure that you don't have a slip up in those areas as well. So really think about your people. And then in terms of your stage, we're really talking about your premises. So the first things first are, is it clean and is it pest free? If you've had your business closed for the last, few months, then you're just going to have to do a real good check of your premises and obviously make sure that it's nice and clean. Things like statutory testing, so your gas and your Legionnaires and your electrics and all of your fire stuff, are you compliant and up to date? You just need to get that all in place. And then, in terms of your premises, all of your things like your customer notices for your social distancing, and making sure you've got the right floor markers, or that you've thought about your exit and entry points so that you've got the 2 meter social distancing. And obviously we've got this reduction, haven't we? Well, it's not really a reduction.
No, not quite, is it? It's a 1 meter plus standards.
Yeah. So there's been a bit of confusion, I guess, around that, and a lot of discussion as to what that really means in hospitality, and making sure that most of the clients that I've been working with, or all of them, have said that they will stay at the 2 meters, and only where there are pinch points do they allow some reduction in the social distancing. So, and the law is quite clear and the guidance is quite clear that you need to make sure you've got mitigation measures in place. So your hand sanitizer, putting in screens if you need to put protective screens in as well.
And I was going to ask you as well, from a consumer confidence side, from the outside, that's obviously absolutely crucial advice and brilliant advice for someone who's running a premises and opening a premises or preparing to do so. But for the customers coming back into the world as well, how they won't want to see all that. That's a bit like knowing that, you know, that you clean their toilet before you stay at a hotel normally, for example. So these are very much hygiene factors for the business owners, aren't they? But what is there a mark or something that gives a reassurance to customers that's generic? So that, say, for example, I'm thinking of going to a restaurant I've never been to, that I know that they've gone through all these important compliance processes and that they are, I suppose, COVID safe is the expression I think is being used.
Yeah, there's a really good free standard that you can sign up for. It's a self-certification standard, so you sign up to Visit Britain, and they have a scheme which they've put together, which is WereGoodtoGo, which is a really, I definitely recommend it. If you also then want an external verification by an expert, there are also external verification audits. For example, we offer a CovidSafe audit from one of our freelancers, you know, and typically that would start at around £115 for somebody to remote audit all of your policies and procedures and go through your premises and then issue a certificate at the end. And that would be done by a health and safety professional. So 2 really good opportunities there.
That's interesting. And I think it's interesting that there isn't a single standard out there that's been agreed by the government, for example. But useful to know that, I think, for people either as business owners or people returning to a venue, of course. Well, thank you very much, Angeline. That's been amazing, and I'm hoping that's really helpful advice for others. To contact Angeline, please go to mycompliancepeople.com or go to LinkedIn and search for Angeline Wolfe with an E on the end. Angeline and I wish you all the best to restart, and we hope that today's recovery ingredient helps you on your journey. You can find more ingredients and recipes by following the hashtag recoveryrecipe2020. Angelina, thank you very much for your time today.
You're very welcome, Mark. Thank you.